everyone. Thanks for coming out. It's a beautiful day outside. Everybody enjoying the break in the weather? Okay, very good. I live on the third floor of a three-family house, just moved, and I haven't had enough time to get an air conditioner, so I am enjoying this weather, trust me when I tell you. Tonight we're going to be talking about quality of life issues. I am really looking forward to some very tough questions from the audience tonight, as well as the questions that were emailed in. As you have no doubt heard time and time again, this is going to be a very important election for the city of Hartford. I think as one of the candidates did mention, Hartford is at a crossroads, and it's at an economic crossroads. I look for a time when the quality of life is so good that you will consider moving back to Hartford, New England's rising star as it is now. They're working on a new logo. That's another subject for another day. Having said that, as we enter into this phase of the election, my friends, you're going to have the choice of machine politics versus you, the people. And that's really what it's come down to. Your will, your way, in a city that serves you, or a city that serves the political powers to be. I present myself as a candidate for the people, because we need to put people first. Because right now, Hartford's serving somebody, but is not serving the people that call it home. And that needs to change. And it will only change when you, the people, voice your opinions and your vote. Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to your questions tonight.
Thank you, Tim. And so now we moved on to the part of the program where we asked the prepared questions that were submitted in advance by the residents of Hartford. And actually, J. Stan McCauley drew number 1. So the first question is, the quality of life issues make a place inviting or not. In trying to make Hartford safer and more appealing, should building quality of life in the city be part of the spoken expectations of the various employees of city government? And how do you plan to engage every one of your city employees in this goal?
That's a good question. Well, the first wave of city employees that I will be engaging will be those that serve at the pleasure of the mayor. As I have said time and time again, they will be Hartford residents. I'm going to have to eat at their house before they collect their first paycheck. They're not going to live in the post office. They're not going to move into the city, get the job, and then move out. I think if you really want to talk about quality of life issues, the people who set the policies and implement those policies should first and foremost be Hartford residents. I mean, if you're implementing policies and you don't live in the city, I find that problematic. Quality of life issues, as employees of the city, I think that they should be contributing to the quality of life of those who pay their paychecks. I'm not so sure they need to be spokesmen for quality of life. I think it is up to the residents of the city and up to those whom the residents have in service to them, us, the politicians, those who implement and put these policies in place. It's our job to make sure that their quality of life works well. On my street, Enfield Street, a tree fell not too long ago. 20 hours to have the tree removed. Well, the electricity needed to be cut and all that other stuff, that automatically, and we understand that. But once the tree was cut, the remains of the tree were left on either side of the street. And they were there for 2 weeks. The truck finally came, passed there, and got the tree up, and then they picked the tree up and put it on city property at 280 Enfield Street, where the remains of the tree are now. That's a quality of life issue that borderlines on blight and litter. There are things that the city can do that just take the political will and the leadership to hold those who have been paid to do this accountable, and quality of life for everybody will get much better very quickly.
Okay, the question is, we know the police are supposed to make the streets safe,
With budget reductions in just about every city and state in the country, we know that a larger police force is not going to be the answer. How can reorganization of the manpower in place across departments contribute to the quality of life and the safety of our streets?
Deploying the police officers is the police chief's job. Having said that, I think that if the police had a better feel of the community, in that everyone in the community is not a suspect, okay? There may be some elements in the community that are rogue and criminal elements, but that's not the whole community. And if you want to have a good relationship with the police, we're going to have to change the attitude. We've got a couple of rogue bad cops running around the city as though they are, cowboys, and that's got to change. Community policing begins with the community. The police are there to enforce the law, but until the community takes charge of the policing, we're going to have some serious issues that are going to continue.
Thank you. Reverend? And this really, it does continue the discussion we've been having thus far with regard to young people. The question is, are you planning to include younger generations in your plan to better the quality of life? And how would you address the antisocial behavior of some of Hartford's youth?
The young people in Hartford, by and large, are good people. And I must take issue with the notion that our young people have some sort of antisocial psychosis, because that is not the case. I think that if you're going to talk about some of the young people in Hartford who may be involved in the criminal underground economy, if you get those young people quality jobs, if you get them training programs that at the end of the training program they actually have a job instead of a lie or the promise of a job that they will never get, you might see them be a lot more socially acceptable within the community. Those young people who have decided to take a criminal career track ought to be treated like young criminals. And I guess that's it for right now.
Okay.
My name is Martha. I'm a young person, a very politically organized and active young person that's working with a lot of young people. So my question to everyone is, we've heard the word community a lot, and I'm in the process of building community, and I know how hard that is. So what's your experience with community organizing, and what, I'm going to go ahead and say, real community have you actually been a part of forming? Because my experience is, in the past, I was like, yeah, I'm part of a community, but the honest truth was that I wasn't. And when you're organizing around an issue, it's a lot harder than just being friends with people. So what's your experience with community organizing? Okay,
Stan first, and then Mayor, I think I saw your card go up. Okay.
How long do I have?
1 minute. Is it 2 minutes? Sorry.
Oh,
2 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes.
It takes me a minute just to get to the answer. I built probably one of the most notable communities in the city, Hartford Public Access Television. There were 70 producers who, if left in a room by themselves, would probably kill one another. Yet they worked with each other to help one another get their messages out. Community is first and foremost self-sustaining, it's self-educating, it's self-policing. And so building communities is quite a challenge, as obviously you are finding out if you're trying to build a community in Hartford, because Hartford has this thing about it that if you are successful in building a community, there are probably 10 or 15 others who want to undermine your success. And so that's something that you're going to have to grapple with. Community building is not difficult if you get like-minded people to work together, or people who have like-minded interests. Not everyone is suitable for a particular community. There are diverse interests. I've worked with Blue Hill Civic Association, Bright Futures. I could go on and on and on, and I won't waste yours or anyone else's time with a long list of communities I've worked with. But suffice it enough to say, community building can be done. It can be done in Hartford. It's done every day. Hartford's a great city filled with opportunities, and I applaud you in your effort to do so. But my experience with community building is 20 years of building the most effective nonprofit communication entity in New England, Hartford Public Access Television.
So let me ask one of the questions that were submitted by an audience member with regards to safety and policing. What can be done about illegal drugs that are brought into the city? Any person, any one of the candidates can respond to if you choose to.
I would humbly suggest that this could be stopped, not overnight, but it could be stopped if there was the political will to stop it. Last I heard, LSD wasn't something you could just go and pick up, because they made sure that you can't get that no more. There's an underground economy, as quietly as it is kept. Hartford does not have a drug problem. Simsbury does. Glastonbury does. Rocky Hill does. And they come to Hartford to take care of their drug problem. Hartford can no more support Hartford's drug trade than the employees of Walmart can keep it in business. We have needs, so we go to Walmart to take care of those needs. People in the suburban towns have needs that come to Hartford. Hartford, in my never to be humble opinion, is a red light district for the sale of illegal narcotics. And if you want to stop it, it is something that can be done. It takes political will, and it might take putting somebody's life on the line. Just like Scott Tao has lobbyists, the drug cartels have lobbyists. And it's a very, very serious and very corrupt, very powerful industry. And so, if you really, really want to stop the sale of illegal narcotics in Hartford, it's going to take a very serious, focused effort to get it done. U.S. foreign policy when it comes to war is containment, not victory. Do you want to have a victory over the sale of drugs, or are you containing it to profit off of it like every war effort that the United States is undertaking?
My name is Milagros, and I live in Frog Hollow, and I need to say my words in Spanish because that's the language I speak best. So we've spoken about drugs, we've spoken about gangs, we've spoken about our youth, but I want to talk about a different segment of our community. What are we going to do, what are you going to do as mayors with our community that have been jailed, and then when they get out of jail, they come back into our community and they have absolutely no opportunities because no doors are open to them, there are no jobs, there's nothing for them to do, and it's a vicious cycle. So what are you going to do to address that issue?
I have a plan for ex-offenders that are returning into the city of Hartford that I call 2 for 2. The snapshot is, we've got a lot of blighted properties here in Hartford. We have a lot of training programs for young people who are supposedly going to school, learn the trades and learn building trades. But of course, when they get out, these little programs that they don't have a job. It's even worse for ex-offenders. I am a proponent of clean slate. Time served ought to be time served. It shouldn't be a prison sentence for life. So the slate should be wiped clean just like it is when you pay your mortgage off. You take 2 blighted properties and you strategically locate these properties throughout the city. And you have one of the blighted properties worked on by a group of individuals who are trained in the building trades. That particular blighted property becomes theirs to sell at whatever the market would bear. They have a vested interest, make sure that, copper and all those things aren't stolen out of the building, okay? And then the other blighted property that they have is rehabbed, and then that belongs to the city, and the city can use that as an incentive program to have city employees move to the city. some special conditions and all those kinds of things. But that's it in a nutshell. And I think that it will work. There's plenty of blighted properties. It's just a matter of how we use those blighted properties for the good of the citizens and the people who live in the city, or for investors who may want to come into the city because it's some grand plan to regentrify.
Thank you. I'd like to move us into our closing statement time, and I've been told we've gone a little bit over, so I'm going to ask each candidate to make a 1-minute closing statement. And let's start with Stan, please.
Once again, I want to thank all of you for coming out this evening and sticking through this forum. There will be other forums. Please encourage your friends and family to come. Those of you that were not able to, make it in terms of friends and family, please tell them to watch this on Harvard Public Access Television. The power of government is vested in the people. It is your government. We are here as your servants. I present myself as a servant to help represent you before the city of Hartford in moving forward the things that are necessary to make this a community that is sustainable and livable for all of us. I really encourage you to go to my website, McCauleyformayor.com. There's plenty of information there. There's all kinds of data there, and I am available for conversations with each and every one of you at any time. Please take down my phone number. It's 944-9797. I'll sit down and talk to you about whatever question you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCauley.